Hey friends, welcome again to my channel, Achuminifobandoye. Today I'll be talking about 3 wealth building books which I read earlier in my life. So if you're looking forward to start building your wealth, you might want to watch this video right up to the end because I'll mention 3 important books in this video. In as much as the first and the second book are so important concerning building wealth, but the third book I'm going to mention in this video is the best wealth building book I have ever read. As a matter of fact, if I'm asked to recommend just one book a person could read in their lifetimes as far as building wealth is concerned, I would recommend the last book because it's so practical, it's so realistic, and it's a very factual book. So hang tight right up to the end of the video because I also show you how to download both the PDF and the audio part of these books for free. The first thing I want us to understand is I don't believe there's any way to get rich quick out there. Unlike the mathematical problems we have in school, there's always a formula to every equation, and if you want to get a solution to the equation, we apply the formula. I believe those same things apply for wealth. If we want to build wealth, there are a set of rules we need to follow, and if we fail to follow this rule, we might never be able to build wealth in our life. And unfortunately, I learned this a hard way after losing a lot of money on investment that promised me instant wealth. I'm not yet some millionaire who is here trying to teach people how to build wealth. No, I'm just here to share my experiences with someone so that someone can learn from it. And the person should not make the same mistake I made in the past. And it cost me a lot of money just because I was trying to get rich quickly. I have read a ton of wealth building books out there. And some of these books, you will hear things like this book have made more than 500,000 millionaires in the past few years. And if you read this book and you want to start building wealth for yourself, first you need to change your mindset, you need to think positive, you need to imagine yourself having this bulk of money in your bank account, spending vacation on the places you've wanted to go to, you need to imagine yourself living in your dream home, you need to affirm wealth into your life. I'm not saying these things are not important. They are important to an extent, but there's a time where you need to wake up from your dream and put some work to make those dreams come true. Otherwise, all the things you've dreamed of is only going to exist in your dream. There is never going to be a reality of it. The first book I read that really opened my mind was Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hills. In this book, Napoleon Hills mentioned 13 principles of building wealth. And in those 13 principles, there are 3 principles that when I studied every successful person out there, I realized they had these 3 things, and that was what made them so successful. And we're going to be talking about those things in this video. The first thing is you need to have a specialized knowledge before you are sure of your ability to transform your desire into monetary equivalence. You need to have a knowledge on a particular profession or a service. There was a time when I asked myself, what do I want out of life? The answer was, I want to be so rich. Okay. What is your profession? There was no answer. What skills do I have? I do not have an answer. Okay. What services could I offer in return for money? I could not still get an answer. So if you've watched this and you're out there and if you've asked yourself these 3 questions and you don't have an answer to it yet, believe me, you can have all the faith in the world, all the desire to get rich in the world. You can affirm all the affirmations of wealth into your life. It's not going to change anything. You need to go out there, add some value to your life, invest in yourself, acquire a skill in which you could offer in return for money. Second thing I learned from this book and I realized every successful person out there had was what we call a mastermind. A mastermind is simply a set of people, not even always like 2 or 3 people who believe in you, who have the same vision as you, who always bring contributions to the table because you cannot do all the work by yourself. Let's say, for instance, you want to develop an application. You cannot do the coding, you cannot do the graphical interface, you cannot do the marketing by yourself. We need people who are specialized in each of these fields to help us do the work. And the third thing is you need to have well-labeled plans on how to do this work. Because, take for instance, you are driving somewhere without a map, and you will take the wrong direction, you'll be heading to the wrong direction, you'll not even notice. But if you have a map, which is a plan, you always know when you are taking the wrong turn and you easily navigate back to the right path and keep going. The second book I would recommend you read is The Compound Effect. This book, I don't really have much to say about the book, but it was just written on the ideology that Rome was not built on a single day, it was done one brick at a time. Same thing as wealth. This book is making us understand that wealth is not something that can be built in a single day, and we don't need to put in a lot of work to build wealth, but we just need to do a series of small and smart things consistently over a long period of time, and these things will compound and we will reap a huge reward. Take for instance, if you are saving $10 for every $100 you have for a period of 15 years, you realize that money in 15 years time has compounded and you really have a huge sum of money. So that's like what this book is trying to talk about. So if you want to build up your habit by not working too much, this book will teach you how to put in the minimum effort as possible, but yet still get a maximum output. Third book and the best book I have ever read as far as wealth building is concerned is The Richest Man in Babylon. I love this book because of its reality, practicality and factuality. And you don't need to have a specialized skill or a specialized knowledge to be able to build wealth after reading this book. So long as you have something that you are doing and they are paying you for it, you can still use the steps in this book to build wealth for yourself. I will put a link for to this book in the description below, both the audio and the PDF. If you cannot read, I suggest you listen to the audio. Now, let's discuss the 7 steps that are mentioned in this book as far as wealth building is concerned. Step number 1 says, start to fatten thy purse. How do we fatten thy purse? It says, for every 10 coin you put into thy purse, take out for use but 9. This simply means, let's take for instance, your paycheck per week is $1,000, and for every paycheck, you use $900 only, and you save $100 in your purse. And if you keep doing that consistently for a long period of time, what happens? Your purse starts to fatten. Step 2 of this book states, control that expenditure, because what we call our necessary expenditure will always grow up to meet our income if we don't protest to the contrary. Confuse not thy necessary expenditure from thy desire. This simply means you have to be able to differentiate from the things you want and the things you really need to buy with money. For instance, you cannot empty your bank account to buy a car for yourself or to buy a mobile phone for yourself when you will need more money to even keep these things running. The third step in this book states, when thy purse is fattened and you are able to control thy expenditure, make thy goal multiply. And the earning it's going to make is only but the start. But the ending from the profit is going to be a fortune. You have to make it your slave. Make it work for you. Make its children work for you. And make its children work for you. Let me explain this. Let's take, for instance, you have a business you started with a capital of 10,000 francs and your profit from that business is 5,000 francs. That's your child. Make it work for you. Take that 5,000 francs, reinvest in your business. Now you have a capital of 15,000 francs and your profit at this time is going to be $7,500. That's your children. Still make your children work for you by reinvesting the $7,500 into your capital. Now you have a capital of $22,500. At this point, you can now consider of using part of your profits to satisfy your need, but never use the first profit from your capital as enjoyment for yourself. The fourth step says, guide thy treasure from loss. Don't be intrigued by large earnings while you may lose your principal. This is saying, before you invest in any business, make sure you study carefully about this business. Know what it takes. Know the successful rate of this business. Again, like I told you, I have been a victim of this because I have lost a lot of money trying to invest in business I do not know anything about just because a friend came and told me about the business and I decided to try. So don't be fooled by your romantic desire of gaining wealth rapidly. Fifth step in this book says, make thy dwelling a profitable place. This is trying to say that own your own house. Once you start making money, stop paying rentage for the rest of your life. You have to own your own house. Even if you don't have the money to pay this house cash down, take a loan. And if you are staying in a house and you are paying a loan, which you know someday you're going to be done with that loan and you're going to own the property finally, it's going to soften your heart and it will give you a peace of mind while you pay that loan. But living in a house, paying rent for a number of years when you will never own the house, you will just live, is a total waste of time and waste of money. The sixth step in this book states that provide a suitable stream of income in yourself in the days to come. Should be you are no longer young to make the money you are making now. This is simply saying that once you are working now, everything you're doing now, you have to prepare for retirement. Why? Because you have to know that your early years are your ending years. There will become a time where you will not even be able to work anymore. You will not even have that strength you still have now to make the money you are making now. And in that time, if you were providing a stream of income for this time, if you make preparation for this time, you will not go through a lot of stress. You will just stay there and enjoy what you've worked for in your early years. The seventh step in this book says, you still have to increase that ability to earn. Means you still have to, the money you are making, reinvest in yourself, study new skills, make yourself confident to earn more because the life is competition and as days goes by, new things are coming. So you have to be able to learn new things so that you can start earning more. So this is just like the highlight of the steps you have in this book. You want to go and read these things in depth because it's really going to help you. Because for me, it has really helped me a lot. And I wished I really read this book like 4 years ago and maybe my financial life would have been different now. So guys, Like I said, the link of this book, both the audio and the PDF, are in the description below. So you might want to download the book and read it. And thank you guys for watching this video right up to this point. Consider liking, subscribing, and sharing the video.